clearly Abraham was a person who submitted to God.
Yeah.
And in Arabic language, when we say submission, we translate it to Muslim. Okay. Some people, when we say to them Abraham was a Muslim, they think Abraham was using this term Muslim. Now, we're not saying that all the time. Maybe it could be, because you know Abraham what language spoke. Okay. It could be we speaking Arabic or Aramaic or different dialects. Okay, different language or Syriac. But the point here is that when we say he believed in God, we didn't say like he spoke Arabic or something. So when we say Abraham was a Muslim, so meaning he had the belief I should submit to one God alone according to his legislation. So the question we ask ourselves was did Abraham had the belief of the Jews? No. Did Abraham had the belief of the Jews? I'm talking about those who made up Judaism, okay, or the belief of Christianity? No. Abraham never believed in Trinity.
He wasn't a Christian then?
No, he was not. Allah mentioned in the Quran, ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. Abraham was not a Jew or a Christian. Rather, he was a Muslim, to one who submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a monotheist, and he was never among the polytheists. Why? It's a logical argument. Christianity came not even in Jesus' lifetime, came after. The Christian's term was given to them by the Romans. Because we know the first sects that followed Jesus called Nazarenes. You know that, eh? Nazarenes, which is Nazarenes mean the place which is Jesus of Nazareth. Nazareth is a place, Nazarene. So Abraham never had the belief of Christianity.
Okay.
And Allah mentioned that because the Christians at the time Prophet Muhammad ﷺ claimed that they believed that Abraham was a Jew. I mean the Jews, they say that. So then the Christians say no, he was a Christian. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, how can you debate about something which you have knowledge of? How can Ibrahim be a Jew or a Christian if Abraham came way before Judaism and came before Christianity?
I hear about like Moses and the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
Do you believe in those?
Yeah, I believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a revelation to Moses.
So
you know?
when he asked like the burning bush, like what's your name? And he said like Yahweh or
for example, in the Quran, what you have to understand, what's your name by the way? Sam, nice to meet you. My name is Shamsi. Nice to meet you, Sam. So, what you have to understand, Allah told us about the verse. That when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about Musa alayhi salam, وإذ رأى نارا فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى فلما آتاها نودي يا موسى إني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا. So Allah mentioned this story that when Moses saw fire or light, he said to his family, wait here for me, let me go check if I find any guidance there. Okay? When he approached the light, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, oh Moses, I am Allah. Okay? So we see clearly that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that he said, I am Allah to Moses. But Yahweh, we don't negate. We don't affirm or negate because we know, based upon Prophet Muhammad's hadith, that Allah had many names. Yeah, and He has many names. Allah has many names.
99.
Not just 99, there's more.
Okay.
The proof of that, the hadith, اللهم إني أسألك بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك. That Allah's Messenger Muhammad ﷺ asked Allah with his names. He said, I will ask you with your names, the names which you have only given to chosen servants, or the names which you kept for yourself. Okay, so that is proof that Allah has many names. Okay, so Yahweh, we don't negate, we don't say Yahweh is not the name of Allah. It could be, as one of the scholars mentioned.
So Yahweh is a name of Allah.
Yeah, one of the names of Allah. But doesn't not negate Allah is not his name because Yahweh is his name. You see what I'm saying? Likewise, one of the names of Allah is Ar-Rahman. Doesn't not negate because his name is Ar-Rahman, therefore his name is not Allah. No, we say Allah's name. Allah has many names and attributes.
So is he, I remember a phrase saying, I am that I am or something like that.
Yeah, according to the Bible, he said, Ehi Asha Ehi. When Moses asked him, what should I tell them? What is your name? But there's a problem with this text, to be honest. Because Israelites should know the name of God. So why is asking him what is his name? Because they should know God's name. He knows what is God's name. But also the problem with that psalm, that let us go back to the foundation. That what we're talking about, there's two stories been mentioned in different books. One mentioned the same story, but with different information. One in the Quran and one in the Bible. But the Bible one, the problem with it, not because I'm a Muslim, I mean, anyone Christian here can forward and we talk about it. Are you Christian, by the way?
I'm like a free thinker.
Believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay. But the point here is, so the earliest manuscripts for the Old Testament, which is the 5 books, including the 5 books, the earliest manuscript is 1,000 years after Moses. So basically someone came after Moses 1,000 years and he's telling us this is what Moses said, and that's what God said to Moses. But hold on a minute, you didn't even met Moses. And majority of people are believing, like Christians and the Jews, putting their belief upon this person's statement, scribes, who we don't know his name, we don't know if it's trustworthy, truthful, or liar.
So is that the Old Testament you're saying that is?
Yeah, that's the stories in the Old Testament. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
The New Testament now, like, I don't know. So you're saying the Old Testament is a bit dodgy?
Even the New Testament, I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Even the problem is that the point here. Look, back in those days, there was no tape recorder. There was no video recorder. You see. So in order for us to know what really occurred, you have to have a method. Okay. That's why Islam comes in with a perfect method, which is what? Name your man. Like imagine Sam, you tell me Hitler did this. I say, how old are you, Sam? How old are you, by the way?
20.
20. Say 20, and you talk about Hitler.
I lied, 21.
Don't worry, you look young, man. Don't worry, I have to lie about your age. Huh? So he says, oh no, Hitler, let us make Richard or what's his name, Henry VIII. Okay? So 20 and Henry VIII, between you, there's gaps. So who told you that thing about Henry VIII? Either Henry told you, or there's people between you and Henry VIII. Okay? So in Islam, that anyone that tell us something about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we had a criteria. We have to do investigation about him. Is he trustworthy, truthful, honest? Likewise, would he get his information from? Did he get it from the Prophet Muhammad disciple, who got it from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You see what I'm saying? And you analyze it, you know? Trustworthy, you have to ask the people about him before you take his statement.
So what about like Jesus' disciple? Like,
that's a good question. Jesus' disciple was Mark. Jesus' disciple, no, he was not. Who was John? John. I'm not talking about John the Baptist. I'm talking about John who wrote the gospel.
Okay.
Was he Jesus' disciple? No, he was not. The proof of that, we look to John's and I have the Bible here to show you that I don't want to just make claims. I want to show you something, and you can tell me what do you think about it. Can anyone hold this? Yeah. So when you read John here, watch. Okay. Okay. So John here is speaking. Okay. He said, then this is no, sorry. So he's speaking here. This is the disciple who testified of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. So who's speaking here? Who's writing this information? So basically, the people are saying here, so this is the testimony of the disciple, who we know him to be what? We know his testimony is true. Who is we? It cannot be John. John is not saying we, and we know him. Sorry. So who's writing here? The question we ask as a Muslim, who's we?
So isn't he talking to the person reading the book like a rhetorical kind of like we? Like...
But who is we? John cannot be we and him.
Oh, okay.
John cannot be writing, because the people that are writing this clearly is we. Okay? We know him. Who is we and who is him?
Like, you know when...
It's not the majestic we, it doesn't mean the majestic we. You're talking about the majestic we.
Not even the majestic we, but who is I and I know him.
Okay. So then I heard something, yeah, that when Muhammad it was revealed, like Allah came to him.
Not never Allah came to him.
Gabriel came to him.
That's correct.
I don't know. It wasn't God directly.
Yeah, it was God spoke to Gabriel.
With Moses, it was God directly. But apart from that, yeah, I heard that, I don't know, he never revealed his name. That was the thing that I believe. In the burning bush, he said Yahweh, and then in the cave, Muhammad never pronounced the name. He never said like, my name is Allah.
No, he says, Ana Allahu la ilaha illa ana.
Well, Gabriel said...
No, Gabriel said to, you mixing between the two. Okay. First of all, let us correct you that Allah spoke to Prophet Muhammad directly as well. Okay. The story of Isra al-Mi'raj, when he commanded him with the prayer, it was directly. The story of the Isra al-Mi'raj, one of the miracles of Prophet Muhammad, he went from Mecca to Jerusalem, then to seventh heaven. Allah raised him. Okay? So, no one had this miracle.
What was this in the cave?
No, it's before. That's after. But that's one thing to correct you, because people, Allah did speak to Prophet Muhammad directly.
Okay, I never knew.
So they did. So that clarified. Okay. Gabriel, when he came to Prophet Muhammad, yes, Gabriel never told him, I'm Gabriel directly. Okay. But after that, Gabriel appeared. Prophet said, I saw Gabriel in the high rising, and it's a real form with 600 wings, covering the high rising. Okay, and He said to me, "Ya Muhammad, I am Gabriel, and you are Prophet Muhammad."
So, wouldn't that be more evidence of like, I don't know, Gabriel, like that's saying, I can believe in Gabriel, but I don't know, like, is there even a force behind Gabriel? Because Gabriel...
Allah sent him, yeah, Allah sent him. Allah sent Gabriel, yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the Quran.
But Gabriel never stated that, like Gabriel could have just...
No, Allah said to him, Allah said in the Quran, which Gabriel came with, that Allah sent you Gabriel with the Quran.
Okay.
You see, Allah said it clearly. Say, O Muhammad, whoever is enemy of Gabriel, then Allah has sent Gabriel to you. Okay? With the truth. And the Quran is being called with different names. The truth, the speech of Allah, and the knowledge of Allah, because part of the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you know what I want to tell you, Sam, yeah? You believe in the Creator.
Yeah.
Correct? And you believe that the Creator, without any doubt, when you reflect upon the creation, the Creator must possess wisdom.
Yeah.
The fact that we can see, we have a teeth in our mouth, not in our eyes, because we use our mouth to eat and chew.
Infinite wisdom.
Infinite mean,
Yeah.
mutlaq, without any doubt, perfect wisdom. So the fact that we can see wisdom in us, yeah, meaning that I have a nose next to our mouth. Before we have a nose next to our mouth, so before we eat, we smell food. Imagine your nose is next to your toes. You see what I'm saying? Look, so I'm saying you have what? You know what I mean? You have your eyes front because you walk ahead, you don't walk back. Correct?
Yeah.
You have ears wide to hear with them. You have a joint in your elbows. You utilize them to eat. You know, Allah mentioned the Quran, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Within yourselves there is a sign of God. What is a sign? In Arabic language is an ayah. What is a sign? Sign that directs you toward something. So you are and I am sign to direct the people and likewise us toward the Creator's existence and to know that we have a Creator.
But to be fair, I know we're on the same page, yeah?
Okay.
That like we believe in a creator and we've got like an intelligent design about us, yeah?
Without any doubt, yeah.
But I know someone is gonna say like, you know what, I hate God, I don't believe in him, and I think our body is just like an evolution thing. Like
someone will tell you, you and I will believe in a Creator. So that guy put him aside. Because you and I, when we're going to go to the grave, that guy will not come with us.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
So let us deal between you and I. Because some people, you have to understand, even a murderer and a rapist can justify his action.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean because he's going to justify his action, therefore we have to accept
So
it.
how, if we're to like make him sort of see something, like, I don't know, how do we sort of change them to think
Before we
about
change him, we have to change ourselves. Correct?
Yeah.
As an Arab say, فَاقِدُ الشَّيْءِ لَا يُعْطِيهِ. If I don't have 10 pounds, I cannot give it to you. Let me possess 10 pounds, then maybe I can give it to you. Okay, so let us focus on ourselves. Because what you have to understand, Sam, this life is temporary. This life is like a bridge. And no one with a sound intellect and a sound reasoning and a pure natural inclination will build a house on the bridge. Because the bridge is being made for us to utilize it to cross from one side to the other side. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always reminds us in the Quran that prepare yourself. You know, Sam, imagine I've never been in Jamaica before, you know? And I want to go to Jamaica. If I'm a person with a sound intellect, do I do first? I do my study beforehand. Is it a safe country? Is it a good country? Of course, Jamaica is a good country. Assalamu alaikum. No problem. So is it a safe country? Is it a good country, yeah? So you have to do study beforehand.
Yeah.
The foolish man, the one who say, when I get there, I will come to know.
Okay.
But so likewise, we're going to die and we're going to travel somewhere else. So we have to prepare ourselves. So if you know the Creator has a purpose, there's a purpose for our life, and the Creator created us for a purpose. So let me ask you this question: if you want to buy a gift for your mother, would you buy a gift that you love or your mother love?
Mom.
Your mom love. So now you and I, we know naturally that we should appreciate the Creator. Correct?
What?
We should appreciate Him. Should be grateful to Him.
Okay.
Okay. For example, make it clear to you: if I give you £2 million as a gift, I say, you know what, Sam? I like you. I had a nice conversation. I'm a billionaire. £2 million is nothing to me. Take £2 million and go. What would you say to me at least?
Yes, please.
What would you say? Thank you.
Yeah,
Would you remember me all the time?
Yes, please.
Of course, £2 million, bro.
You're the boss.
That's okay, now I will give you £2 million on a condition: give me your 2 eyes.
Oh.
No go. Because you know your eyes is more valuable than £2 million. So why don't you thank the one who gave you 2 eyes for free and call him boss?
Absolutely, yeah. Give thanks.
That's it, give thanks. Now we know we should give thanks. But the other part, how should we give thanks? You told me if you want to buy a gift for your mother, you should buy a gift that your mother loves. Likewise, if you want to give thanks, you give thanks the way the Creator loves. And why what the Creator did? Based upon His wisdom and His mercy and justice, He chose people amongst us from our kind to convey the message, to tell us what is our purpose of life, to give us a guideline. Because generally speaking, naturally we know what is good, what is bad, but not in details. That's why there's people called the chosen ones, the prophets and messengers. But again, some people going to claim to be prophets of God, but they are liars. They are wicked people. They are evil people. But they are true prophets. Okay? So how can we differentiate between the two?
Is it a racial thing? Because one thing I'm not too sure about, yeah?
Okay.
If we jump out of everything and go back to the Jewish religion, yeah? And say, I don't know, they're a chosen people, they've got a covenant with God, yeah? Let's say we jump back into Islam now. I know it's in Arabic, is that a chosen people is suggesting?
No, it's not true. It's not true.
Okay.
It's not, has nothing to do with the people, a nation or something. Even the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the reason Allah favored the Israelites. Doesn't mean they are the only believers, as some Israelites believe. They believe no one believed in God except them, and everyone is dirty and evil and should be our slaves. No, we don't believe that. We believe they're all believers, but they are favored over the other ones. Like they are prophets of God, God favored some prophets over the other prophets. So Allah favored the Israelites, but why? Allah mentioned the reason. Because they were monotheist. Also, many prophets were among them. However, we don't have this God is only for the Israelites. No, Allah is for everyone.
So who does He favor, or does He favor?
Allah now, because Allah mentioned the Quran here. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most favorable, honorable in the sight of Allah, the one who is righteous and has piety. Not because he's skin color, and the fact that Islam has nothing to do with Arab tribe. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his father. He said, my father will go to hellfire. And his companion Bilal, who's from Abyssinia, he said he will go to paradise. He was not Arab, Bilal. Okay? So he was black slave before Islam. When Islam came, free Bilal. So the point here is, if it was just for the Arabs, then Prophet Muhammad's father should be in paradise and Bilal should be in hellfire. No, see, that's clear cut. But my point here is, let's go back to the main point. That is, so the characteristics of the true prophets, I will mention them and tell me if it makes sense. One of them, they were known amongst their nation to be trustworthy, truthful and honest. Why? Why God choose people who are known amongst their nations and societies to be trustworthy, truthful? Because imagine me and you, we know someone is a big liar. He can, as my uncle said about one of the guys back home, he said this guy, he lies more than he breathes. He just lies, you see, he said this guy keeps lying, So imagine someone who is a liar, and he comes to me and you, and he say, Shamsi, Sam, I'm a prophet of God now. Me asking, hold a minute, you're the biggest liar, man. You see what I'm saying? So we have excuse for us to reject him because he's a liar. But when God chooses who are known to be trustworthy, truthful and honest, the other characteristics or criteria, they came with the same teaching. Even though they never met each other, generally speaking, when they were preaching on the earth. When Prophet Muhammad was preaching, he never met Jesus. When Jesus was preaching, he never met Abraham. When Abraham was teaching, he never met Noah. But all of them came with the same teaching, that believe in one God, believe in his messengers, believe in the last day, believe pre-decree everything that occurred in this universe by God's permission and his knowledge. Okay, but they never met each other.
So you're saying the character, yeah?
The character
have to be righteous,
trustworthy, truthful, honest, yeah.
So couldn't God just use someone I don't know, a random person who's had the life of sin before? Couldn't he, or they have to be of a certain pedigree?
But remember, we said that we can look now. If I want to choose someone as my ambassador, of course I'm going to choose someone who is known to be trustworthy, truthful, honest, amongst his nation. Correct? I'm not going to choose someone. Okay, all his life is not to be a murderer, a rapist, but now he's changed, I'm going to tell him, okay, go. People say, no. Okay, he changed, it's okay for him. But for him to convey a message, now we have to be careful. You understand? You see what I'm saying? People here do change, people everything without any doubt, but I'm saying, generally speaking, maybe he will change, but you have to test him as well. Maybe when he changes, you test him, if he's trustworthy, truthful. For example, Prophet Muhammad's companions, they were not good people before they became Muslims, okay? But when you become Muslim, who praised them is Allah. That's why we take from them. Because if Allah praise you, that's it. If God praise you, it's enough. Understand? But the other thing also prophecies. They prophesize about the future. Now, for example, who knows the future in details? God. God knows everything. Because the logic dictates, in order for me to make a watch, I have to have a knowledge how to make the watch. Correct? So I don't have to speak about Moses and Jesus and Abraham. If I establish Prophet Muhammad is a true prophet, logic dictates you should believe what he came with, son. Correct? For example, now if a doctor comes to me and I have a disease, and the doctor says, I know Shamsi, you have disease, and do you accept I'm a doctor? I said, yeah, I know you're a doctor and you're an expert, and I do agree that you know my problem. He says, okay, take this medication. I said, no, I'm going to reject it. People would think I'm dumb. Because if you accept him as a doctor and an expert and you know what he's doing, you should follow his advice. Prophet Muhammad 1400 years ago, son. You don't have to be a Muslim or Algerian or nothing. You can observe it by yourself, son. Prophet Muhammad 1400 years ago, he said, there will come a time when you see the barefoot Arab man competing in building tall buildings. When the Prophet Muhammad mentioned that, son, the Arabs back in those days were not known to build tall buildings. Those who were known, the Persians and the Romans and the Egyptians and the Greeks. Let me ask you, maybe you know, maybe you do not know. Where is the tallest building in the world? Dubai 50 years ago was a pure desert. Let alone 1400 years ago. And who's competing with them? Saudi. In Jeddah, they competed to be taller. How a man that lived 1400 years ago, prophesizing specifically, precisely, in details, something will occur in the future which is occurring in front of our eyes. And that's what Allah said in the Quran about Prophet Muhammad. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ عَلَّمَهُ شَدِيدُ الْقُوَّةِ. That Muhammad does not speak from his own desires. He speaks from the revelation. Okay? Another prophecy. Prophet Muhammad mentioned when he was in Mecca, because he was in Mecca first, his people, or the Arab pagans, were torturing him. They killed some of his companions. He was very weak there. They couldn't fight back. Okay? While he was going through the hardship, he told his companions, you will overpower the Persians and the Romans. The Persians and the Romans, Sam, they were the greatest empires back in those days. The world was split up into two by them. Some was belong to the Romans, some was belong to the Persians. So imagine a man is telling the people in a small city, small village or a town, they cannot even fight their own people. They're scared of their own people. He's telling them, you will overpower the Persians and the Romans. Even some hypocrites, they start mocking Prophet Muhammad for that statement. Historically, it is known. After Prophet Muhammad passed away, at the time of his companion Abu Bakr and Umar, the Muslims overpowered Persians and the Romans. Again, how men knew that details. There was no indication. I'm not going to talk about China. Maybe China is going to become the greatest and the most powerful country in the world. Because there is a science indicating that will happen. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about people that can't even defend themselves against their own people. I'm telling you, another one, Prophet Muhammad mentioned, okay, alayhi salam, he said there will come a time when you see women dressed but naked at the same time. Maybe you can ask your grandmother. It's known, even in Europe, people never used to dress the way they're dressing now. They used to dress with modesty, yeah? So listen to what Prophet Muhammad said. And the reason Prophet Muhammad mentioned in that psalm is for you and for me to come to conclusion with knowledge and certainty. This man is a prophet of the Creator, who you and I, we accept that we should appreciate him and thank him. So he said they will be dressed but naked at the same time. Now when you walk down the street, this is exactly what's happening. The clothes they are wearing, so tight that they change the skin color, that's it. You see what I'm saying? Sam, what do you think what I said to you so far?
You know what I'm thinking, yeah, and I understand what you're saying. But
does it make sense?
It makes sense. It's logical. It follows a progression. There's nothing outlandish there. But okay. I don't know. I have to be honest. Yeah, I know other things that, and I don't know much, but I know there's other claims to the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's people saying like they've got a claim on the truth as well, and it's competing information. There's different people saying we've got the absolute truth. And I'm asking, okay, what if a Chinese man came along and he said, I am the final prophet, and he goes all the way back to Abraham, and he says, you know, China will one day be great. He lays down prophecies like that, and he does that. Like, I don't know, how does that go now? Like?
Okay, so now you know, in my country they say, if can do anything, you know what it means. If Shamsi flies, well, how are you gonna deal with that? So why we say, look, if there's absolute truth, there is no way anything will go against the absolute truth. So I'm saying, if something is certain, there is nothing go against it. If there is never truth going against it, therefore we are misunderstanding that truth, or one of them has to be falsehood. Okay. But what I've mentioned about Prophet Muhammad in Islam is clearly makes sense. So I'm saying, and clearly going in line with the reality. Because what is the truth? What goes out with the reality. Like now, Sam is standing before me. Is that a true statement here? Because everyone can see Sam standing before me speaking to him. You see what I'm saying? So what I mentioned about Prophet Muhammad in Islam go in line with the reality. Okay? So if someone comes after, I will not believe in him. Why? Because I already established Prophet Muhammad is a true prophet, and I know God will not choose a liar or deluded person to convey his message.
So couldn't someone say, Jesus, like, we can't accept anyone after him, and then couldn't the Jews say, no, we can't accept Jesus?
That's a good argument.
He came after us.
That's a good argument.
Like, everyone's saying we can't accept anything.
Let us analyze that, Sam.
We're gonna set up shop, and no one can set up another.
But let us analyze that, Sam. Jesus himself never claimed to be the last prophet.
Okay.
Jesus himself, there is a lot of stuff to tell you, but I cannot tell you right now. Allah mentioned to Prophet Muhammad your description, your characteristics, and your name has been mentioned in the previous scripture. Okay? Meaning the Torah. The Torah, because some people say it's Isaiah, it's not the Torah. No. If you check it, the Torah includes Isaiah as well. Okay? So what we know, that there is this manuscript, as I told you, which is the Old Testament, is based upon this book, the Old Testament, is based upon a manuscript came up way before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. How many years, Anwar? Like
800 years.
800 years before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. Manuscript, yeah. But Prophet Muhammad has been mentioned in the book. Watch this. Yeah, it's so clear. Okay. The servant comes to glorify the Lord. Behold, my servant whom I uphold, my elect one, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the Gentiles. Just the Gentiles itself mean the non-Jews. And every prophet that came after Isaiah, he came for the Israelites. Okay? So this man is coming for the non-Jews to begin with, yeah? Then he mentions about the characteristics, yeah? But I want to mention something which is so clear. He said, let the witness and its cities lift up their voice. The villages that Kedah, remember this name, yeah? Kedah inhabits. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let the inhabitants of Selah sing. So there's two names, there's Kedah and Selah. I want someone to Google Selah, Mountain Selah, yeah? Kedah, yeah, 1 minute. So Kedah is a name. So this person who is a prophet is coming from Kedah. Who's Kedah? Here. What's this? Genesis 25:13, yeah? And these were the names of the sons of Ishmael. Ishmael, okay? By their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nabiyoth. Then Kedah. So this man is coming from the lineage of Kedah, not the lineage of Isaac. And we know the only prophet that came after Isaiah from Kedah is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Give me your phone, akhi. I'll show you Mountain Selah. Because remember he said let them sing it. Mountain Selah. Selah is the mountain in Saudi. So historically speaking, this event and this man never occurred in any place except is a Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is from the lineage of Kedah. His name Muhammad, son of Abdullah, son of Abdul Muttalib, son of Hashim. He goes back to son of Adnan. Then he goes.
So is Muhammad related to Abraham?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Ishmaelites, the Arab came from the Ishmaelites. The Arab are the Ishmaelites. They come from Ishmael.
Okay.
The Israelites came from Isaac. So Isaac had a son called what's his name? Isaac had a son called Jacob, and Jacob, he's the one who is called what? Israel.
I've got some knowledge to gather on like the lineage of people. I don't understand, but I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So this one, so we as a Muslim, what you have to understand, Sam, yeah. I'm not saying it because I'm a Muslim. Wallahi, I study. I've been doing this preaching for many years.
Yeah.
Wallahi, we have so tangible proofs, yeah? We have many proofs. We have intellectual proofs, and we have textual proofs that go in line with one another. Logical proofs that when you use your reasons and natural inclination, okay? Which we spoke about. Prophet Muhammad's characteristics, his prophecy. Textual proofs when Allah mentioned, like Prophet Muhammad, what they call it, he's been prophesied in the previous scripture, and we can go back to it. I will tell you something which is a powerful thing. I've been asking this question to many people, and every time I ask someone, they let me down. Maybe you're gonna shall I answer it? Okay. Okay, the Quran is like size of this, like, you know, maybe it's a bit smaller but size. Do you know, listen to this question carefully, do you know any book the size of this book? It has been memorized. It has been what? Memorized by 100 million of people who doesn't speak the language of the book. To make it clear to you, imagine you and I, we memorize the book, the size of this book in Chinese language, but we don't speak Chinese. Do you know any book like that?
I mean, Muhammad couldn't write, so memorization as well. Back in those days, even spoken traditions like poetry, things like that, Vikings used to use memory. You know?
No, do you know any book?
It must be the Quran you're referencing.
No, but I forgot about the Quran side. Do you know any book like that? They memorized by people who don't speak the language of the book.
I'm sure there's like a Chinese guy that can recite Harry Potter or something.
No, millions, not one person, millions.
I don't know.
Okay, do you know what that is? Only the Quran. Okay, the Quran, what is so amazing about it, that we can bring Chinese brother, or a sister, or English, or European, or American, African. They can read the Quran in Arabic language, yeah, perfectly, pronouncing the words and the letters perfectly, grammar perfectly. But when you speak to him in Arabic, even if he speaks Arabic, he will make mistakes in pronunciation. Imagine, to make it clearer, imagine you bring me Shakespeare's poem, and you know what, I'm reading it perfectly, reciting it perfectly. Then you say, you know what, let me bring English dictionary. So I'm reading it perfectly, pronouncing the letters perfectly. Then you say, okay, speak to me. I said, me, where are you? Me not going, me not coming. Me yesterday, tell me, hold on a minute, what are you taking a mic? You just read English dictionary perfectly, without any mistakes, and Shakespeare's poem without any mistakes. Now you're telling me tomorrow not coming.
So isn't that parrot learning?
No, the point here is, the point you're missing, that Allah mentioned that 1400 years ago in the Quran, that Allah, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّنَّا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have made Quran easy to be memorized. This statement is not Muhammad's statement. This is a statement of someone who knows about his creation. Because Prophet Muhammad, who lived in the middle of the desert 1400 years ago, he cannot come up with a statement that this book I came with, everyone will memorize it. He can't, because why? In order for you to make that claim, you have to have a knowledge of everything. And the one who knows that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my point back here, the only prophet that claimed to be the last prophet is Muhammad alayhi salam. Moses never claimed, Abraham never claimed, Jesus never claimed. Rather, Jesus himself with his own mouth, alayhi salatu wasalam, may Allah blessings and mercy be upon him, that he said a prophet will come after him, and that is the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So that is the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهُ هُوَ الْحَقُّ وَأَنَّ مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ الْبَاطِلِ. Allah is the truth, and whatever they call beside him are false. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, I will make you think about this, because you're not promised tomorrow. Wallahi, think about Islam. Alhamdulillah, many people will accept Islam. Forget about the people. You came this life by yourself, Sam. And you'll be buried by yourself.
You know what? I can't make a decision right now.
No, of course.
I have to like.
But listen to this, yeah?
As well.
No problem at all. I will give you even. But I said to you, think about this, because sometimes what we do, when you go back to our houses and mix with our family and our friends, we forget about what we learned.
Passion goes, innit?
Yeah. Like so remember, you came by yourself.
Yeah.
And you will live this life by yourself, and you'll be resurrected by yourself. And so therefore, prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Understand?
Okay. Thank you for speaking to me. And you know what? I'm gonna research.
Ask the God of Abraham.
Yeah, pray to God. Pray to God.
Well,
let me give you something, please, as a gift.
Do you know what he mentioned about Prophet Muhammad not being able to speak? I don't know. What is mentioned about that in the Bible as well?
Speak, yeah, not speak, to write.
Sorry.
Oh, you cannot read. There's a prophecy that a book will be given to someone who cannot read. a book, and we know historically speaking that never happened except with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. اقرأ. He said, ما أنا بقارئ. He said, I cannot read.
Wait, but wasn't that written after Muhammad?
Isn't it written in the Bible as well, actually?
No, that was written before Prophet sallallahu his prophecy. So yeah, this is a nice gift.
Okay.
For me.
Thank you.
Sam, where are you from?
Jamaica. That's my country.
SubhanAllah, I give example about Jamaica, man. You see?
It's in the like Caribbean thing.
I had to say Jamaica is a good country, you know, because you know I always mention Jamaica as an example, you know. But Jamaica is a beautiful country. I'm gonna go.
Let's talk again, yeah. I'm gonna
Inshallah.
read
Can you
this.
take my number down?
Okay,
We
sure.
exchange numbers, no problem. Because while I like, you know me, I tell you, I come here not just to waste my time, you know. And wallahi, I always mention, sometimes this place puts me off. Because when I speak to some people who doesn't listen, stubborn, but when I listen to someone who is honest, open, that motivates me to come back again.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So let me take your number, and I will stop you, inshallah.